Hello, God bless you, and I welcome you to today's edition of the Bible Moment. A time set aside for the study of the Word of God. Today is so special. Today is so beautiful, and today we are talking about the power of self-control. You can call it the power of emotional intelligence. The ability to have dominion over self, the ability to have dominion over the flesh. It's so powerful. It's such a wonderful trait, um such a wonderful strength. That the ability to exercise control over the flesh is so powerful. It is important to know that we cannot fulfill our destiny if we do not have control over self. In fact, we cannot successfully navigate through the path of life, if we do not have control over self. It's the ability to gain mastery, over ourself, over our flesh is so powerful. This includes the power to resist, sexual urges that could lead us to trouble, the ability to resist sexual sins, the ability to resist anger, the ability to manage anger. Of course, that's also part of the emotional intelligence. The ability to, the ability to, um, um, the ability to have control over greed, that's another part of it. In fact, anybody who wants to go far in life, anybody who wants to become someone, must have the power to in fact, if you must live long on earth, you will have the power to control yourself. You must have a level of dominion over your flesh. We all know the story of Samson, how he's the strongest man, how with the story of Samson, such a strong man, such an anointed man of God, but he had no control over his um urge for sex. That brought his downfall, because it was that brought his downfall because God warned him continually, do not get married to the women of Philistine. Do not have anything to do with the women of Philistine. But that lack of self-control, that is what brought his downfall. It was disobedience. That was what brought his downfall. So we also know the story of on the other side. We also know the story of Joseph, how he resisted Potiphar's wife. That's actually the passage we are reading today. How he stood his ground and said no to sin. In our generation, it takes someone who has it takes someone who has self-discipline to say no to sexual sin. You know, to sexual sin. And Potiphar's wife came many times, continuously trying to seduce Joseph, and he did not yield. He flee instead. That's what the Bible said. So he flee instead. So that is so powerful. And we all know how the story ended. Because God elevated him more and more. God raised him up. God, blessed him. God lifted him up more and more on the account of his, you know, is self-control. Self-control is so powerful. You know, a man who has self-control does not owe the devil anything. You know, when you can resist sexual sins, you can resist the urge for greed. You know, the urge for greed, and you can, you can resist the urge for, for anger. The devil has no entrance into your life. The devil has no entrance at all, because these are doorways in which the enemy gets into our life to spoil things for us. He comes emotions. So we need to gain mastery. A man of God, a businessman, someone who is going somewhere, someone who wants to become great needs to gain mastery over his emotions. We need to keep our emotions in check. When people get us angry, we can choose not to get angry. They try when people, when the devil come through people to try to spoil our day. They try to get us angry, to get us paranoid, but we choose to stay stable. We choose to stay stable. We are not getting angry. We said, oh, I have mastery over my emotions, so I am not getting angry. I have emotions. I have mastery over over myself. I choose not to get angry, even though people, are trying to get me angry, but it's not enough for me to get angry. So, the devil cannot have any doorway into our life when we have mastery over our flesh, when we have discipline, self-control, self-discipline, emotional intelligence, the ability to resist urge, the ability to resist the flesh, the emotions, to resist our to resist emotions. When people come to seduce us, the street today is full of seduction. The street is full of seduction. People are almost walking naked on the street. Those things. But sometimes you just look at it and it becomes a problem to you. But we need to gain mastery. As God's people, as people of destiny. Mastery over our emotions. Even though we see the seduction, but they don't mean anything to us. Even though we walk on the street, we see people, nudity everywhere. You want to scroll to your phone, nudity. You want to watch TV, nudity. You want to anything. You walk on the street, nudity. So nudity is everywhere in our present generation. It doesn't mean anything. It shouldn't get you to to start thinking of that direction, to commit sin, or to to do something that would jeopardize your walk with God, as well as your walk of destiny. You jeopardize your life. So, as God's people, as God's children, as Christians, we are people who have self-control over the flesh. We are people who are blessed. We have control over. If you don't have control over your flesh, then the devil will easily bring you down through through your emotions, when you through either sex, or bring you down through you cannot control drugs, alcohol, and other things. Those are other pathways, also pathways that the devil can bring you down. He can bring you down through anger. Anger is God is helping us, but anger is such a dangerous doorway that the devil comes in through. When you're angry, you are raging, you can do anything. You can get your gun ready, you can shoot someone, and at the end you are regretting. Oh, I wish I didn't do this. I wish I didn't get angry, but the deed has been done. You shot someone, so what can you do about it? So these are things that our emotions. We need mastery over our emotions, dominion over our emotions. dominion over our flesh. So we tell our flesh we are not getting angry today. We are not going to, we're not going to have sex with people who are not, someone that is not our wife. We're not going to commit sexual sin because that is that is a sin against God, and that would jeopardize our life and our destiny. We are not going to we're not going to go not going to fall for greed. We're not going to fall for greed, such another, very dangerous, so, doorway of the devil. So we can see that our emotions is a doorway for the devil. So we are today speaking on how we can, have dominion over the flesh. Say no to these things that come through our emotion, these things that appeal to us. These things that appeal to us. A lot of people today, they are completely helpless when it comes to sexual sin. They are so helpless, so helpless. Like they just fall easily. They just fall like so cheaply. They fall so cheaply to sexual sins. They fall so cheaply to greed. They fall so cheaply to, anger. You say, oh, I have hot temper. It's so terrible because hot temper, you call it hot temper, and it's terrible because hot temper can jeopardize your life. You can make terrible mistakes when you're angry, and then the next minute you're sorry. You're feeling sorry, but the deed has been done. So this is a doorway where you're angry. The devil comes into your heart to use the opportunity to you're raging. I will deal with you and all of that. I will deal with you today as you're raging. Oh my God, your life is so in danger. The enemy can come through that doorway to use you to carry out an agenda from pit of hell. And you think, oh, I have hot temper. You know how I can get when I'm angry, and you think it's something to be proud about. So we are not proud of anger. Anger is not good. Anger is terrible. Anger is terrible. We are not proud of anger, right? So we are not proud of it is something we should keep in check. We keep our flesh in control. We are God's people. We are people of destiny, and we will control our lives. Now let's look at the book of Genesis, chapter 39, verse 7. Chapter 39, verse 7 says, "And it came to pass after these things that his master's wife cast her eyes upon Joseph, and she said, Lie with me. But he refused, and said unto his master's wife, Behold, my master wotteth not what is with me in this house, and he had committed all that he had to my hand. There is none greater in this house than I, neither had he kept back anything from me but they. Because thou art his wife, how then can I do this great wickedness and sin against God?" Awesome. Verses 10 says, "And it came to pass as she spake to Joseph day by day," like this temptation came to Joseph on several occasions, "that he hearkened not unto her to lie by her or to be with her." So this is such a great, no matter how this is such a great, we all know the story of Joseph and how he rose, in his career, in his destiny, in his journey of destiny. He rose to be. He made Israel proud. He made his family proud. He changed. He didn't just make the family proud. He changed the narrative of the Israelites. Just one man. Nobody can become great without mastery over flesh. Nobody can make a mark in life. Nobody can make a mark. Nobody can live long without mastery over flesh, dominion over flesh, the ability to resist self, the ability to say no to, to say to those negative emotions like anger, like sex, like greed, etc. We need to have our inner strength. We need the self-discipline, self-control over those things that God has asked us not to do, those things that we know that are dangerous, or those things we know that is not the will of God. So those things, some of us, we are so weak when it comes to alcohol and smoking, those and drugs. We feel like even though I just smoke, but those things are they are also not good. They are not good. They are not good at all. Alcohol is not good. Those drugs, so they are not. They are not. They are not. They are also open path. Of course, we know that these things are not good for us. So they are not good for us as Christians. So we need to stay away from them. These things, this alcohol, this drinking, this drinking, this smoking, this drugs, they are completely not good for God's children. So we will control ourselves. We'll control ourselves. So we'll tell ourselves that this is not for us. I will tell you that anybody who has self-control will live long. Anybody who has self-control will fulfill his destiny. Anybody who has self-control does not owe the devil anything. Even though the devil wants to come in, no matter how the devil is raging, he cannot come in because you owe him nothing. Nobody can destroy you. Nobody can destroy you. People, before somebody will destroy you, they must look for your weakness, right? Those weaknesses, they look out for your weaknesses. Are you someone that easily fall to sexual sins? Then you are a cheap prey, very cheap. It is easy for the devil to maneuver himself and get you down if you fall easily to sexual sins. Are you someone that that you create, want to see money, whatever, your body is shaking, you can do anything, money can control you, money can ride you, money, you are so cheap when it comes to, you can sell anything, sell yourself, so just for the money you're shaking, your body is shaking, then you are a cheap prey, very cheap prey. Are you someone that easily you like, when you see drugs, alcohol and all that, your body is shaking, you are ready to gulp anything to take it down. You're also a cheap prey. Are you someone that what is that thing that someone that anger once someone says once you hear someone speak, who is that talking? Are you talking to me? You don't know who I am? I can, how my anger can get, and you're proud of that. You're very cheap. You're very cheap. You can be destroyed easily by the devil if God does not help you. You can be destroyed easily by the devil if you are someone who and then you get anger. When you're angry, you're raging and you're ready to shoot someone, fire your guns at anybody, and you're thinking you're proud of that lifestyle, but you have no idea how dangerous that can get. That is not good for a child of God. That is so dangerous. It is so dangerous. It is not good for you. Now let's look at a good let's look at the book of 2 Kings chapter 5 verse 20. We know the story of Gehazi. the servant of Elisha, the man of God. So chapter 20 says, but Gehazi, the servant of Elisha, the man of God, said, behold, my master hath spared Naaman the Syrian in not receiving at his hand that which he brought. But as the Lord liveth, I will run after him and take somewhat of him. 21. So Gehazi followed after Naaman, and when Naaman saw him running after him, he lighted down from the chariots to meet him, and said, Is all well? And said he, All is well. My master hath sent me, saying, Behold, even now there be come to me from Mount Ephraim 2 young men of the sons of the prophets. Give them, I pray thee, a talent of silver and 2 changes of garments. And Naaman said, Be content, take 2 talents. And he urged him, and bound 2 talents of silver in 2 bags, with 2 changes of garments, and laid them upon 2 of his servants, and they bare them before him. And when he came to the tower, he took them from their hand and bestowed them. Greed. Okay, let us read verse 24. Verse 26. But he went in and stood before his master, and Elisha said unto him, Whence comest thou, Gehazi? And he said, Thy servant went no whither. Verse 26. And he said unto him, Went not my heart with thee when the man turned again from his chariot to meet thee? Is it a time to receive money and to receive garments and olive yards and vineyards and sheep and oxen and my servant and maidservant? The leprosy therefore of Naaman shall cleave unto thee and unto thy seed forever. And he went out from his presence leper as white as snow. So this is greed is completely really bad. Greed is the consequence of greed. You could see that when Elisha asked Gehazi, when the prophet of God Elisha asked Gehazi, where are you coming from? He said he lied. He said I didn't go anywhere. So greed opens door for other things. Like, just because I want this thing so badly, I want it at the expense of, anything can go. I am ready to give my body just because of that's great. Just to get this, the latest iPhone, I can give my body just to get the latest the latest iPhone, the latest stuff, beautiful stuff. I can give my body. I can do anything. I can lie. I can tell lies. I can just do anything. I'm ready to do anything. I'm ready to, to do things that I'm ready to do negative things just because I want this. That is great. Greed is completely, we saw the end of Gehazi. He left white as snow. It is completely a cheap way to end, really cheap. So our emotional intelligence, self-control would have, it's everything. Self-control. A man of self-control will live long. A man of self-control cannot be destroyed. A disciplined man is a strong man. A disciplined man cannot be destroyed by flesh, cannot be destroyed by the devil, cannot be destroyed by anybody. For the devil to destroy you, he needs something. He needs a loophole. What is that loophole in your life? What is that loophole through your emotion? Is it the sexual sin? Is it you easily fall for sexual sins and you cannot you cannot you cannot you cannot withstand the pressure of pressure, the sex urge. You cannot bear it. You just keep falling in. Are you that person? The greed, money is a problem. Whenever you can do anything to get money, you can anything at all. When you listen to some people, they are ready to give up anything. They're ready to do anything negative. Are you someone? We are not like that. We are not like that. We don't receive something that is not clean, something that's not our own. Anything that is not clean is not our own. We let it go. Any money that is not clean, we let it go. Are you someone that is, whatever it is, that besets you easily? What was that thing that makes you fall easily? Emotions. So we need to build ourselves, build on our inner strength to be able to withstand the impulses of the flesh. We need to build ourselves strong in the spirit to be able to withstand the impulses of the flesh. And when we are able to withstand the impulse of the flesh, then you are a strong person. You are strong in the Lord. You cannot be, nothing can take you down, nothing can take you unawares. Thank you so much for today's edition of the Bible Moment. I urge you to join us because God is doing something really awesome through this platform. God is blessing lives through this platform. I urge you to join us every day on new episodes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, and God bless you. Thank you so much. Join us on YouTube. We are on YouTube at The Total Place. The Total Place on